And then tell us about your mom and how she lit you.
Well, during the 20s, there was a big revival in Poland, and because my uncle served in a legion that the French put together at the end of the First World War, when the Russians attacked Poland in 1919, we beat them. I think we're the only ones in a couple centuries that defeated the Russians, communists. And there was exchange of prisoners, and at that time, my father and the rest of the clan were in Siberia. And so they came back to Poland, and then my dad became a Christian and went to a Bible school in Germany. And in the early 30s, my mother came to America to Moody Bible Institute. And I'm telling you how God was moving on my family and my parents. They got married in 34, and I told you already that we were occupied by the Russians. And so my dad had to run away, but he had a whole bunch of German Christian friends. So they were taking care of him when he escaped the German side of Poland. They worked, after Hitler attacked Russia, they worked for 2 years before the German Red Cross arranged for my mother and my sister and I to come to Germany. And so we're on this train that's full of German soldiers. I think the compartment that we were, my mother and my sister and I, was full of like maybe 8 German officers. And they would stop every half hour and supposedly go to the restroom or buy coffee. That was the excuse officially given, if I remember correctly. I was only 7 years old on the strip. And I didn't connect all the dots until about 10 years ago. But the Polish underground was the most efficient underground in Europe. And we tied up over 10 German divisions in Poland, and they would blow up such a train. And so they would stop every half hour to check the track to see if it's safe. And well, one of the German officers stayed behind and didn't go off the train, wondering who is this woman with 2 little kids. And so he started talking to her in German. She said, I don't speak German. So he tried French. Every educated person in Europe speaks French, right? And she said, I don't speak French. And so then he tries English on her. She said, yeah, I speak English. And he said, is there something I can do for you? And she said, yes. And my husband and their German friends in Berlin don't know we're coming. Give me their address. I'll send a telegram at the next stop. So when we got to Berlin railway station, that was my dad and the German friends. So they took care of us. I am kind of unique that most Poles, Ukrainians, Russian, French, they were slave laborers. They were forced by the Germans to come to Germany. We did not go that way. We were taken care of by my dad's German friends. And so we were outside the barbed wire. The factory we wound up at had about 100 18-year-old Russian girls working, making fuel tanks for Panzers. English, you would say making tanks for tanks, right? That doesn't sound good. You know what a Panzer is, right? I think everybody here knows.
There's some economic equation in there.
Okay, and so, and he was, the owner was a Christian. So the way these slave laborers were treated depending on the German company. If the management was humane, they got along fine. Krupp was the worst. I mean, they were really not feeling well. Krupp
was corrupt. Krupp was corrupt. That was.
Well, maybe whatever it is, etc. And so we were liberated by Americans on April 1, which was Easter that year. And to say I partially disagree about this Marshall Plan and NATO and that we caused the Cold War. When we met, we had a bowl, some bread in the basement that my mother hid, and the GIs found it, and they took it. And so my mother walks up to the first lieutenant, who was the platoon commander, I suppose, and said, we're no Germans, and you took our last bread. They loaded us up with all the American food. We had the best Easter in 45, April 1. And so And then we stayed in refugee camps until 49.
Oh, we're gonna go this way. Paul,